All right, so we're on day 2. Where are we? We're at Pila Montoya 3. Honestly, frankly, terrible site. There's nothing there. So this is day 2. It is pretty cloudy actually right now. We are going to pack up at this site and move to the Pila Montoya 3 site. We already went to the ranger station and checked in, took a shower, but there are people at that site, so they are not required to leave until noon, so we're going to wait here for a little while. This is our setup. My Dometic in the back of the truck and a Jackery 500 and solar panels. So if we're just out at the site, I'll do charging at the solar panel if I need to. I'm at 47% overnight, and then I have it hooked up into the Tacoma. Has a 120 outlet, and hook that up when we're driving so that the Jackery is getting charged by the truck and the fridge is connected to the Jackery. So works pretty well. Haven't had any issues with that setup. Forgot how incredibly dusty it was, so the back of the truck is full of dust. I need to deal with that the next time I come out here in these kind of conditions. Maybe insulate around the tailgate, try to keep some of the dirt out of there. Anyways, that's about it for this morning. This is Pila Montoya 3. So this is pretty remote. The road is, after Pila Montoya 1, is pretty slow going. Not too bad. I was in 4-wheel drive high. It definitely is much more narrow than the rest of the road. So full-size trucks, you can fully expect some scratches related to the vegetation that sticks out on the road because it's pretty narrow in some spots. There's a lot of cacti right by the road. But this is a nice view in between these two in this valley. So it's middle of the day. We'll get full morning sun, and I'm hoping we'll get some afternoon shade as well. So need to set up the solar panel. We'll start charging up the Jackery, but we've also got this really nice canyon right down in here. This is very cool, but it's incredibly desolate and remote, which is what we wanted. Super dry. There's just, even though I think they got some precipitation not too long ago, it's very dry. There's just no real water sources anywhere. Haven't really seen a whole lot of wildlife, honestly. Saw some like cattle and some peccaries, but that's it. Haven't really even seen birds, which is kind of surprising. I thought it would be a lot more bird activity. we? We're at Pila Montoya 3. This afternoon we got some footage of basically off-roading through the rest of the park on the east side. Let's see. The first stop we went to, and I'm just going to describe these. I didn't shoot the entire thing because it's not really that interesting. Fresno Vista, which is on basically just east of where we are right now, on the other side of this hill, probably about 2 miles. That was mostly scrub. I don't know that that's a great campsite. We weren't able to go all the way down to it because it was occupied, and I didn't want to drive all the way down and then have to back up. It just isn't a whole thing, so didn't see that whole thing. But the drive-in wasn't particularly interesting in terms of terrain or scenes or things like that. And then we went further a little bit north and then east. We saw Jackson Pens, which is more of an equestrian stop. They have actual pens for horses. It's a bigger site, so it'd probably be good for a larger group as a base camp. Nothing much to look at there. Then we drove down to Paso al Solitario. That drive was actually pretty nice through some really cool canyons. We got some footage there. Definitely four-wheel drive, high clearance for sure. I was in high four-wheel drive high most of the time. I don't remember any spots that required low gearing. Went to McGurk's Tanks, which is what I think I pronounced it. Honestly, frankly, terrible site. There was nothing there. It's flat. There's no shade structure, and there's no protection from the wind or anything. So it's not sure why they have a site there. There's nothing really interesting there. So I would never camp there. We did not go down to Tres Papalotes, and that's where the Road to Nowhere is at, which I think we want to try to do tomorrow. So we'll try to fit that in before we go back to the west side of the park. And then we came back up. We were going to make the loop. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't say on the map. It's basically the loop that goes behind Los Alamos and the private residence that's up there. We got about a quarter of the way in. It's an unmaintained road. It's absolutely four-wheel drive, high clearance. And since we were solo, there was a couple spots where it got, it was probably fine, but since I didn't have another vehicle and there was no recovery, I had my recovery gear, but I just didn't feel comfortable, so I said, you know what, we're not going to do that. So we backed up and came back out and came back to our campsite. So tomorrow there's a trail at the bottom of our in this canyon that I think we're going to do that in the morning. That goes down into a canyon and a wash. I think there's a creek down there, but I don't know if it's probably dry. There's another area which we'll probably drive to, Fresno Canyon, as well. I believe there's actually a canyon where there's a running water source, and there's in that area it's kind of like an oasis where there's trees and things like that. And there's a couple of campsites down there which I think are booked. So, but I'd like to check that out too. And that's what we did today.